I began my understanding and learning of therapy through my mother, because she was basically a manual therapist, and she was also a village practitioner, and she grew herbs and also helped people with many disorders and diseases. You could call her the barefoot doctor. She was a village practitioner, and she was very good with all sorts of problems, from dislocations, breaks, contusions and slip discs, etc. So I learned how to do all that type of work from probably the age of 4 or 5 years. I was assisting her and watching what she was doing, and sometimes walked on her back and worked on her painful knees, etc. So yeah, that was my beginning. As a consequence of that, I became what is known as a traumatologist. So basically bringing people back from injuries, if you've had any car accident, sports injury, or even strokes, etc. So I work with specific injuries, subluxations, and again, dislocations, breaks, contusions, slip discs, and so forth. And that was my specialty for many years. I then moved into mental health, probably 25 years, or even longer now. It was 1990. I started looking at why psychiatry wasn't so efficient and effective at dealing with certain problems. So I was looking, having worked with a psychiatrist in Berlin, who was a client of mine. He asked me if I would come to his clinic and see if I could help his clients without having to use any drugs, as it were. So, and I was using lots of alternative techniques, including acupuncture and breathing and meditation and herbal remedies, etc., and managed to help, in many cases, people lower their doses from 30 to 50 tablets a day down to about 4 to 6, so, and help them to manage their lives. So I'd say they're my two areas, actually, traumatology and mental health. Therapy is a skill that you learn to apply through methodology and technique. Healing is something that a lot of people have told me since I was young, you're born with. It's not easy to teach someone to become a healer. And I think there's probably a lot of truth in that. 50 years on now, thinking about it, simply because you can make things happen if you want by focusing, but healing's about getting out of the way of what process is there between you and that person and allowing a channeling to occur so that you can actually act as an intermediary, a vehicle. But you have to be very careful to not be an interfering vehicle. So healing is creating a space or a clearing to allow a natural process, either augmenting the person's natural healing capacity or a process of channeling the energy. In the case of qi, life force, you learn how to channel qi from the earth or from the universe, and you become a conduit of that energy. So it's quite different to therapy, which clearly involves a lot more focused attention and awareness regarding techniques and methodologies and applying them, whether they are psychotherapies, that means the non-physical techniques, or the body and the physical techniques. I've helped many people come back from severe car accidents. Probably the most severe of that was 60 bones were broken, and there were pins and bobs and whatever everywhere, and they said the person wouldn't be able to walk for a year. And I managed to get them out of hospital after 6 weeks of sessions and helped them to start walking and even running in 3 months. So that was a good one. There are many others, actually. And I've also done lots of work with people who are on the way out. So I've been an intermediary. We call it the hierophant, which is basically the sacred bridge builder, and helping people to pass in peace. I've had many different types of clients, ranging from AIDS and cancer to severely disturbed people in their psychomental, psycho-emotional states, possessed people. I have conducted various types of clearings for those people to help them to calm down, etc. So spontaneous healings are the ones that are the most interesting and exciting. When you look at complementary and alternative medicines, they either complement the existing allopathic system, such as physiotherapy and nursing, etc., or they are an alternative, and usually they're the traditional medicines. And then there's a holistic approach where you've got a clinic and you've got, say, 8 or 10 different therapists all present, but that's more like a menu where you can pick and choose who you want to go to according to what your particular condition might be. And integrative medicine, and especially the way I perceive it, first and foremost looks at a foundation principle. So there's a model that you're building it on. There are different models that I know exist already, and they look at lifestyle and trying to bring spirituality into their integrative medical approach. But my approach is looking at the connection between the psychomental, psycho-emotional, and the psychosomatic. Our thoughts, our feelings, and the impact they have on the physiology through the parasympathetic nervous system, hormones, the psycho, neuro, endo, immuno, and electro connection in the body. So that's my approach to integrative medicine, integrating all aspects of our thinking, feeling, emotions, intuition, and the physical body. I practice in London at the Oracy, which is near Canary Wharf and West Ferry. That's where people could come in London or in the UK to experience my integrative medical model. And I also practice it and teach it in different countries, including Russia, mostly Moscow and St. Petersburg. And I've traveled to numerous other countries over the past 30 years, and I've been teaching and practicing this particular approach in those countries. I'm looking at creating a model that people can easily incorporate and access, because it's modular, so you can build the integrative medical model. Our model also, in addition, takes allopathy, which is based on science, and CAM, based on wisdom traditions, and integrates them through a complex of devices. I call it an integrative computerized information platform. So what's important here is the information that you receive as a result of the connection of these 4 systems. Because until now, there is no common language that unifies them. And this is very significant and very important. So provided the people concerned do have some kind of background in any one of those fields, we could utilize any type of different technology to assist them in understanding how to approach that particular complex, and we can say apply this to the psycho-mental and the psycho-emotional and the psychosomatic interface. So that's what I'm planning on doing, and basically turning that into a type of training methodology and a franchise. As a result of the fact that the approach itself is open, they don't have to have the same set of devices. For example, the devices I use here in London are completely different to the ones I use in Russia, because they are different technology, and that's just the way things have developed. What's important is the principle of looking at allopathy based on science, CAM based on wisdom traditions, and the interface between the psychomental, emotional, and the psychosomatic. This type of system could be taught within a week in terms of the fundamentals. So basically, we're looking at operational level, and then it would require anywhere between 3 and 6 months to become very proficient at being able to have a successful system. So if a person, for example, was interested in taking this on board as part of a clinical type of practice, there'd be ongoing support and training, because there's only so much you can learn, obviously, in a week. But as I said, that's operations level. And if they were interested in copying exactly what we have here, that makes it a lot easier. If a person is a chiropractor, osteopath, and they also want to learn something else through the devices, then we'll train accordingly. What we've done in the past is we've trained people. It's taken approximately a day of 8 hours of training to operate one device, and then we gave them another 60 to 80 hours of training, and then we gave them a certificate, and their proficiency certificates that shows that they've had experience and they really understand the device on I call it an assessment and an analytical level, not just a operations level.